Before we start, I just made a new channel dedicated to anime videos and topics like that, so check it out because I'll be uploading on both this channel and the new one. Also, we got some new UGC from Hikari with his curse technique and Kirara's hair, so check it out. Thanks once again. What's up guys, it's Punchy, and today we're here with a second patch coming from Operation Deep Healing. So, the weekly update schedule might be returning to normal. There's gonna be a ton to cover, but I'll mention the highlights that really switch up the game. Keep in mind, there's a secret boss in this update alongside massive world event changes which each have their own loot drops, so I can't cover everything here, but I'll just be focusing on the gameplay itself. Anyway, as always, I recommend hopping into the game to check it out for yourself. Make sure to like and subscribe so I can hit 130k, and let's begin. Starting with some new content, there's a couple of different weapon additions that were added today, and they're pretty interesting for elemental builds. The Cryptlate in this update received a new running critical. Previously, the base crit got nerfed since you can jump over it now, but they added something new to balance it out. The running critical is an armored multi-hitting slash that helps lock down enemies while also closing the gap. I think the pressure for this move is kinda peak, but remember, it only hits in front of the target, not around you. With the giant rework coming to an entire weapon class, bows have been upgraded and changed quite a bit. So there's new options to mess around with, but its combat potential has been elevated. The base M1s for the bows seem to have stayed the same, similar to the guiding star, until you hold them down. With an extended M1 press, you can charge up your arrows so they can have more range, and they can also be aimed with your mouse. Overall, they deal less damage than the normal base M1s, but you can empower them with power shot timing when it charges fully. The running attack and aerial attacks for this weapon are unique, and it's interesting that you can hold down your aerial to charge it up as well. The critical on the shade shot is like a shotgun spread, but I'm sure they're going to be different. I'm not too sure how healthy this is for the overall game, but at least bows are finally a fleshed out weapon class and may receive new content to mess around with soon, such as talents. And speaking on talents, we got a few bow talents to use, but I'm sure there's more planned out later. The talent Bodkin Arrow deals more armor damage to those with armor and more damage normally if players don't have any armor at all. You're really rewarded heavily for landing hits within that small time frame, and yeah, you gotta time this. Now with hard stop, if you hit a charged arrow, that's gonna push enemies away with some knockback, which is very powerful, don't get me wrong, but it gets even crazier with precision crusher. Charged shots landed will knock players down in a hard knockdown, and this fully shuts down their movement. Honestly, I think that this is gonna be pretty busted to use, but I guess we'll have to see. Moving on to some gun talents, we actually got some interesting ones in this update. Gunpowder Blast buffs the posture output of dual gunshots without the use of bullets, finally giving us a reason to not use the innate pen boost from the projectiles. In my opinion, it's not really that great in comparison to a free damage boost, but at least it's an option, right? The reason why you would do this is by swapping your ammo by pressing Y. You can switch between no ammo or a very specific ammo type in order to meet the situation. It's kinda cool. The talent Quick Swap decreases the time in between ammo swaps and will be worth using if you want to be flexible in combat. The talent Execution also plays into this no ammo playstyle, buffing your offhand flourish damage directly without any pen boost from any ammo. It sounds pretty decent to me if you land flourishes and if you want to use this without any of the projectile types. Taste the Rainbow, a genuinely troll talent, swaps ammo every single shot, and that's going to be unpredictable for everyone, but at least you can control what ammo you carry. Honestly, after this update, guns might be much better with their own resource management, and that's exactly what I want to see. With world events, there's a bunch of changes here worth mentioning. No longer do you have to wait in a server to queue up for these events. You can press join and other players from other servers can join to help you out. This is a much needed improvement since most events will finally be populated and full in these servers. Starting off with the classic, the Carnival of Hearts has a bunch of new rounds as well as some reworked ones, so it might be worth checking out. With a new ingredient hunt game mode and lethal punishment if you fail any of these game modes, the Carnival of Hearts might actually be a bit more competitive. Battle Royale has also turned into a world event, allowing us to join throughout the entire week when it spawns, not limited to the weekend. This event has rewards and is probably worth playing now, so it's going to be worth checking out. On top of this, a whole new world event has released, replacing the spawning parasols in the overworld. Nobody really liked them roaming around, but they now spawn in a new event around a volcano. Depending on the player count in this event, more parasols may spawn around, but it's a really interesting map with a very simple premise. The more people in the server, the more chests, and you clear the island and kill them. And it has a couple of different new attacks with a fully new design. Leaning more into the jellyfish-like design, it's awakened its electric abilities. One new move charges up in a ring around around the parasol, releasing a massive blast of lightning that stuns and spawns additional strikes on the target. Similarly, the other AoE move that was added pierces into the ground, electrifying the air around players and forcing them to dodge the lightning that auto-aims to them. It's way more pressure than before with its mob spawning and tracking tentacles, but I think it's pretty cool. Besides the new events in this update, a new secret boss has been added to the depths of Layer 2. This guy is a crazy champion Kurzguard with a sick design and dynamic combat, statuses, and a ton of exclusive new loot. I won't be discussing everything in this video, but I'll talk about how you can find and spawn him. To actually fight this boss, you have to activate all the obelisks just like normal, talk to the owl guy with some Curzon medallions to activate the power strength buff, head to the lake with the Lightborn, and up this new cliff, and there's going to be a new thing to interact with. This is the giant purge shrine that you can talk to, and once we do that, we just gotta fight Etheron just like normal. After defeating him, you'll notice that the collapse timer has been extended, becoming much longer, and when you escape across that bridge, you'll see this giant Kurzguard champion. With this new extended time, you can take on this mini-boss for his exclusive content, but he's pretty insane to deal with as Layer 2 falls apart. I think it's worth trying, and there will be a guide coming out on that very soon, but leave your thoughts down below. What do you guys think about this? Next up, with a change coming across the board to all forms of content, tempo gain has been boosted the more pressure you apply. Now, in this current patch, whenever your light attack is blocked or parried with any sort of defense, you gain a little bit more tempo than usual. Overall, this is going to incentivize getting up close and using your weapon to, I guess, use M1s, while making mantra spam from range a little bit less rewarding. Alongside this, feinting M1 now has much less end lag on your weapon, making it a lot easier to use anything and harder to punish after feinting. Another change to a key system, base mobility, has been nerfed slightly. So for starters, the slide jump distance you travel has been reduced a bit, so it's not going to send you flying. This is fair in my opinion, since players were sliding around unnecessarily far always, and it just didn't make sense. Besides that, after doing a slide, you will no longer gain this mini hop without momentum. It kind of forces the player to accelerate a bit before they can get a massive burst of mobility. Finally, wall jumps and hops off any surface can now be shut down with an air counter, and that should have been implemented during their addition. It's hard to say exactly what we can expect with this change, but combat should be more grounded than before, while also allowing fast parkour out of fights. Reworking a full-on game mechanic with mobility, air counters in base can be activated by jumping and then pressing M2. So before this happened with an aerial attack, but it's been changed to be way more consistent and easier to use. This applies flat damage and knocks enemies down if you do this on a jumping player. Parry cooldown has been reduced slightly as well, and you will have a new animation when something punishable gets parried, so it might look a little bit different and feel a bit different, but it is some very slight changes. In terms of progression, we also have a few changes here as well. For starters, if you meet the training requirements for any attribute like the EXP and usage of the stat, you can instantly level it up in your journal without even needing to use training gear. If you have the requirements for a stat in any capacity, just go to your journal and click the level up. Besides that, specifically for weapon manual training, using this will have an interactive minigame telling you when to block, parry, and dodge, providing a bunch of weapon EXP when it's finished. This is way more interactive than before, and it teaches new players how to defend against certain telegraphed moves, so I'm really loving this. Further covering progression, there's a bunch of changes for rolling cards. For starters, when you increase in level, there's a new visual that shows your hand queue, previewing the options coming up. There's a separate visual for normal talents and a new colored one for mantras, which also looks really sick. You can hover over each of these to see what you're getting in your hand, and it's a bit more information than before. If you have a mantra hand to pick from, they also display differently with a recolored border, and it just looks really clean. Besides that, for trait hands, passive stats you obtain when you level, these have been removed from rolling in hands, instead becoming accessible in the journal. When you meet the level requirement to upgrade a trait, it won't show up in your hand, but it's going to be in your stat menu instead. Just like the talent deck from last update, there is now a mantra deck in a similar location for your journal. This allows the user to favor or burn mantras you don't want, and it will display everything currently obtainable with your stats. As a result from those additions, it means that mystics are useless and no longer help us with talents or mantras, meaning they're literal burger flippers in the world of Deepwoken. This is great quality of life for the players, but rest in peace mystics. Next up, with some new updates to visuals, we got more player information and a world improvement as well. So if you notice those new trees around the map slowly getting added, I think in this update, the rework is fully done. Most, if not all, the trees in Deepwoken have been reworked to fit with this modern new style, and I think it looks better instead of mixing the two visual styles together. But outside of the map and into our journal, we have much more information to work with. In our tab journal menu, it's now possible to view your equipped weapon and offhand. This option is going to be next to your equipment, and you can see what weapon is active or toggle it off however you like without needing to sit down whatsoever and unequip. Your outfit also displays in the same exact location, but adding on top of this, resistances to anything are going to show up next to your stats at the bottom of your journal sheet. All of this new information is great, and now it's easily accessible without sitting down and opening up a separate menu. Finalizing the rework to the journal, almost every single statistic available while resting at a campfire has been moved over to the player journal. You no longer have to sit down to view any of your character related stats, and it makes it much easier to view your content in a single place. With an absolutely amazing new update to how telegraphing works, we can change in game how abilities and attacks show up on our screen. A ton of people complained about the stacking effects, but now it's fully optional up to your preference. We can pick between simple telegraphs, which only display the player outline, or normal telegraphs, which have both the symbol and the outline shown. So it's up to you, but both options are here to choose from. This is just so nice to see in game, and I'm glad we can finally pick how information is provided to us. Another setting that isn't exactly visual is the preferred region option. It allows you to prefer your area for instant servers like world events or teleports across servers, but it should be more likely to get into that region if you have it selected. Besides this, nerfing buggy mobility even further, elemental assault moves will now cancel when parried or stunned. Previously, using a mantra like flame assault would keep you moving in a straight line after being defended, but now in this update, your movement should correctly end when parried. On the topic of mantras, a few elemental options got reworked across the board. Some WISP options also got hit with a change. GALE WISP, specifically the Spectre Path version, is no longer going to passively charge your meter because that was boring and kinda busted. Now with Spectre, it's going to instead give you bonus meter when landing mantras, which makes the gameplay much more active and rewarding in combat. Shade WISP, on the other hand, kinda just got nerfed, reducing the duration and obscuration effect with its shadow proc. When this does eventually happen, it's easier to see the user and it lasts for much less time. So for right now, that's about it, but leave your thoughts down below about all of these changes and hop into the game with some Battle Royale. Thanks once again to all the supporters who motivate me daily and directly help out the channel because it means a lot. If you want to join as a member for my channel, go down below, but besides that, my personal Discord, Guild Discord, and my UGC group are linked down below, so check them out. Thanks once again, and make sure to like and subscribe. It's punchin' time.